Over the years, you've worked with so many people. What are the kind of top most painful thoughts? Like if you
Yeah.
had like a list of ones you hear over and over, and we all kind of think we're the only one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think it would be very validating for someone listening to hear just some of the top things that are the most painful thoughts people have shared with you over
Yeah.
the decades
Yeah.
and how you flip it.
Okay. So the number one off the charts is I'm not good enough. I'm not valuable. I'm not worthy. And it can be imposter syndrome. It can be jealousy. It can be whatever. But the root of it is I'm not good. Not even enough. I'm not good. The biggest lie ever told. Go to a nursery in a hospital and pick up a baby and tell me which one of them isn't good. If we knew ourselves to be that precious, we would automatically live our purpose. If we could experience ourselves as being these innocent creatures that are bumbling through life. And I feel like the powers that be, the divine force of the universe is just going, oh, sweetie. Oh, honey. How could you think that? Don't you know? I mean, I remember looking at some horses once and going, oh, wow, they're so beautiful. And this woman who was with me knew horses. And she said, well, that one's sway backed and that one's, and I'm like, shut up. They're all perfect. They're all beautiful. And when you step out of suffering enough times, you sit down and say, I'm not good enough, it immediately flips to, oh my God, I'm so good. I haven't had to earn it. It's not something I did. My favorite spiritual teacher, Byron Katie, says, if you understood how important you are, you would shatter into a billion pieces and just be light. And she had that experience. And I believe she went beyond suffering. And I've come out of suffering over and over again, like someone surfacing out of deep water, and taking a breath of the truth. There is no word to describe how utterly precious you are. You have hear me now, understand me later. I had a near-death experience once.
What happened?
Oh my God. I mean, I've written about it. I've talked about it. I wasn't dead. I was in surgery for actually scars that were inflicted by sexual abuse when I was a child. I was getting flashbacks, and the scar tissue had started bleeding internally.
That happens?
That happened. It did with me. It's actually not that uncommon for post-traumatic stress syndrome to re-inflict wounds that were inflicted on you at the time of the trauma.
Wow.
To get your attention, because suffering is always trying to say, here, look here. So I was in the surgery, and I opened my eyes, and I sat up, and I looked around. And then I thought, wait a second, I'm lying down. My eyes are taped shut. What's happening? And I looked at the surgeons, and I was sitting up and my body was lying down and they were working. And I became very confused, and I lay back down into my body, and I looked up at the surgical lights, which were very, very bright. And then in between all of them, and you got to understand, this was a time of maximum suffering for me. I was in physical agony. I have 3 little kids under 5, all kinds of nonsense. They say we only see a trillionth of the available light spectrum. And it was the whole thing. It was the most beautiful thing. Even for years, if I even read about somebody seeing this light, I would just bawl like a baby. It is so beautiful. And it started to grow and just infuse things. And then it touched me. And I was utterly home. I was utterly loved. I belonged. I had nothing to prove. I was absolutely included in this love. And it was laughing with me. And it was like, you said you wouldn't forget, but you totally forgot this, didn't you? And I was like, yes, I really thought life is a bitch and then you die and that's all there is. And we were laughing together. And I was so happy that I started crying. And one of the surgeons saw the tears and thought that I could feel the surgery, but I was numbed.
Kidding.
And so he said, she's in pain, she's in pain. And the anesthesiologist went to increase the medication.
Uh-huh.
And later, when I said, I want to talk to the anesthesiologist because I thought that might be a drug effect. It was not a drug effect. And I wanted to quiz him, and he said, what happened in there? And I sort of told him, and he said, I went to increase the medication, and a voice said to me, don't do that. She's crying because she's happy. And he was just pale because he thought he'd done the wrong thing. And he said, did I do something horrible? I was like, no. He said, you know how many times that's happened to me in 33 years of practice? I said, no. And he said, once. And then he kissed me on the forehead and went away. But when the light touched me and sort of suffused me, it just said, you're about to go through some really hard stuff. And I was complete loss of all my family members, my job, my industry, my home, all my friends, totally gone. And it said,
and is that because you left the church?
Yeah. I left everything. And it said, you're about to go through something really hard. Just remember, I'm always, always with you. And I came out of that surgery, and it was kind of like the experience in Cambridge where I just said, okay, that light is with us. I am going to live as if I can see it all the time. And then I had a son with Down syndrome who told me at a friend's funeral that he can see it all the time. He said, life isn't so sad after the light comes and opens your heart. And I was like, who told you that? And he told me that when he was 13, a light had appeared in his bedroom and filled him with peace and told him, I'm your teacher, you can do this.
Wow.
And I said, I can see the light. I said, the light told me it's always with us, even though we can't see it. And Adam said, oh, I can see it. And I was like, what, now you can? He was like, yeah, can't you? I was like, no, where is it? Is it up there in here? And he said, Mom, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
You have this incredible exercise that you walk people through that I do think can help you feel and see the light. And it's called Ideal Perfect Day.
The ideal day, yeah.
Can you walk us through it?
Sure, it's really simple. And now you're grounded in your body. This is the track. We have to follow the track. This is how you track forward. So we're recording this in 2024, end of 2024. How far would you like to go in the future? We're going to do time travel. So I don't do hypotheticals. I want to know what you're going to do.
I immediately thought a decade, 10 years.
Okay.
And is that a good thing?
Yeah, that's
okay,
great.
10 years? Okay.
So it's 2034.
Okay.
And think about, you don't have to say it, think about the age you'll be and the age your husband, your children will be. Sort of move your mind forward like a calendar. Now, here are the instructions. Your life is absolutely what it was meant to be. Every expression of your greatest joy and your greatest fulfillment. You're going to wake up on a day that is an ordinary day in a perfect life, in an ideal life. So what I'm going to do is I'll prompt you with a few things, and I want you to let your senses answer these questions, not your mind. So your mind can't time travel. It will tell you it can, but it can't. Only the body can time travel. And this is how it goes. You wake up on this morning, and you don't even open your eyes. You listen. What do you hear on this day, an ordinary day in your perfect life in 2034? What do you hear?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I hear waves,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear little kids laughing.
Okay. So smell the air. Don't open your eyes. What do you smell?
Salt. Coffee.
I'm seeing a theme here. All right. Open your eyes. Look at the sheets. What color are they?
White.
Look at the floor. What does it look like? Wood,
It's like
carpet?
it's a wide planked wood floor that's sort of, it's kind of, it's not shiny. It's like worn.
Cool. Look over across from you in the bed. Who's there, if anyone?
Chris.
Loaded question. Okay, great. Look at the room. What do you see? The whole room.
It's very like like just kind of modern and unfussy and beautiful. And
Are there photographs on the walls?
no,
Or-
there was like a painting or a photograph.
Okay, what does it look like?
It's it was like a big beach scene.
This theme is strong.
It's
here.
very strong.
All right. Are there windows in the room?
There's one.
Okay. Get up and go to the window and look out. What do
Okay.
you see? Your life is perfect. What do you see?
The ocean.
Okay. It could also be like the Alps and the Sahara. Like you can see anything. There are no rules here.
Okay.
It's just imagination.
Yeah.
But you see the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a tropical ocean or is it northern?
No, it's sort of northern. Yeah.
Okay. Rocky or just sandy? Don't think
It's just the ocean.
Cool. All right. So you go into your bathroom.
Uh-huh.
It's the perfect bathroom. Look at the design of everything in the bathroom. And then look at yourself in the mirror. And you are your healthiest, most radiant, physically fit self. Take that in. You are looking fabulous.
Yes.
And so you do your morning stuff, take a shower or whatever. Then you go to your closet and open the door. This is very important. The clothes in your closet reflect everything you do in your perfect life because you have to wear different things. So I always ask people, look at the shoes. What kinds of shoes do you have?
Oh, they're all like flip-flops and Birkenstocks.
There's no like strappy sandals with
Absolutely
stiletto
nothing.
heels?
Nope.
Hiking boots.
Not at this house.
Yeah. Oh, you have more than one house. See how that came in? This
Yes.
is fabulous. So this is your beach house,
Yes.
clearly. And you do not do formal wear
No.
at the beach house.
Mm-mm.
So what you're going to do now, Chris is still in the bed. Maybe you go into the kitchen and you walk through this house. Look, as you walk through the house, see if there are pictures of events that have happened. Like right now, I can see a picture behind you of a wonderful family trip to the ocean. Look for the pictures that have been taken in the years between 2024 and 2034.
2 weddings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Is it their laughter you can hear?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. I love it. I love that. Can you feel that you are creating this future as we go through this?
Mm-hmm.
You are out of anxiety and into imagination, and the tears in your eyes tell me it's real.
Yeah.
You're finding your purpose right now. And the things that bring tears to your eyes are the real purpose. Forget career, forget money, forget all that bullshit. When you're dying, it's the pictures of your grandkids you're going to look at. Like it's the hugs they give you. It's stuff that the society says isn't valuable because there's no money attached to it. That's bullshit. When I walk people through this, we go through the whole day. Who's in the kitchen? And walk all the way. I won't do it now because it would take the whole session. But you go through the whole morning and see, I'll ask you, what do you do in the mornings?
Well, you know what's interesting is I walk the beach. I have a big thing of water. I practice yoga. I read on the porch.
Who's there?
I'm just hanging, my family and my parents.
Oh, can you feel how free that is?
Yeah.
Because you've done so much in the world that says, be a lawyer, be that, all that stuff that was harsh and cruel and sort of tried to knock the sentimentality out of you. It was pushing you away from your purpose and into fear, into anxiety, because when we leave the track of our joy, a natural response is to be terrified. And then we get stuck in that spiral and we can't come back. But when you begin to create, which you just did, with your senses and your imagination, not verbal mind. Don't be counting things and measuring how it's going to happen. No, that's all left hemisphere thinking. Senses and joy. That's how you track your future. And as you track it, you create it.
I wanted to ask you about the senses.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you tap into that creativity
Mm-hmm.
and you really navigate through a day like that
Mm-hmm.
using only senses? Because I did catch myself at times, and I'm sure as you were listening and you were imagining your ideal day, you caught yourself thinking
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah.
And it takes you out of the feel.
Yeah.
Why do the senses matter, and why do they help you unlock your sense of purpose and joy and tap into this creativity?
I'm so glad you asked. And again, I don't want to get all sciencey here.
No, please.
But the left hemisphere of the brain, which is glorified by our society, that left hemisphere is what talks and counts and measures time and thinks of problems and tries to get what it wants. And it's very fear-based. So it gets stuck in anxiety. When you go to the senses, if I asked you, imagine the taste of lemon, immediately the right hemisphere would start to light up. The senses and our sense of being in place activate the right hemisphere, and so does imagination. So, and creativity sums it all up. So any artist is just in the present moment, very much in contact with what we're making and not stuck in fear at all. The interesting thing is that after you come out of a session of that, because your right hemisphere doesn't track time and you go back into the verbal left hemisphere, it will say, well, that was nothing. That didn't even happen. There was no time. I don't know what you were doing. What is that about? So when you say, I say, oh yeah, bliss and white light and everything. And you're like, how does that add up? It's the right hemisphere that gives us our sense of meaning, our sense of connection, our sense of joy. And the mind that goes, no, that actually is a completely different part of the brain.
Huh.
But as I said, anxiety shuts down creativity, but creativity shuts down anxiety. So while you were doing the ideal day, how anxious were you?
0.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just pure feeling.
Yeah. And that's how animals live. They don't have, I remember watching this movie about bears. It was called Bears. And there's this grizzly mama who comes out of hibernation. She's got 2 cubs and she's in the sun and they're nursing. And she's like, how, I don't know if you breastfed your kids. You got oxytocin squirting out of your ears. It's the cuddle hormone. And the narrator says, the mother bear is happy, but she's worried about her milk supply. And I'm watching and I'm like, no, she's not. She's most definitively not worrying about anything. Look at her face. It's just language. Some scientists, some psychologists set out to discover why we of all species on Earth, there's a certain proportion of us that take our own lives on purpose. No other animal does that we know of. And the answer to why we do that is language. Because of the way we think in language and time, we can construct a future that is so painful to live with that it outweighs our fear of death. A structure made of nothing but words and thoughts can torture us until we want to die. And I lived that way for about 32 years. And then I decided I was going to live in the awareness of that light.
Was that surgery the moment that you made the decision that you were not going to live like that anymore?
Pretty much. I came out of it, and that was when I took my first, what I call an integrity cleanse. I decided not to tell a single lie for a year, not a lie of any kind.
What was that like?
Don't believe in my religion. There that goes. Okay, those friends don't like me now. They think I'm the devil. Okay, bye. That goes in. Because I wouldn't say to them, I really, I see where you... I would just go, no, what you're saying makes no sense to me at all. And so I came out of that with a motto, which is burn every bridge but love. If there's a bridge that's connecting you to suffering and tragedy and pain and lack of authenticity, it will kill you. Burn it. I'm much more gentle with clients. I just say, maybe try a day where you don't lie at all. And just notice the places where you have been lying and don't lie to yourself.
What do people discover when they even just go through a day and they don't tell a lie? And I realize there's a difference between being harsh and truthful and telling the truth with a little bit of compassion.
Yeah, you learn to be very gentle about the truth.
But what do you find that when you go through a day of integrity and you tell not a single lie, what are the things that come up for people over and over again?
Over and over, you notice that you are lying to fit in, that it's all about what I call the social self, that you know not to lie about things like, did I leave the stove on? But when you're with someone who says, oh, I just love you, and you feel that they don't, just notice, oh, I would have gone along with that and kind of believed it before. Oh, okay. And during that year, I was so clumsy. So people would say, oh, I really miss you. And I would say something like, I miss the concept of you as a friend. And people were so put off and so offended. But I was in agony and I had to get out. And every truth I told, it's true. The truth will set you free. But it's the truth about little things like, am I lying to make the other person feel good? You can say what you're going to say, but know that you're telling a lie. And don't tell it to yourself. And that will set you free. Stuckness always means you're about to be transformed. Tell me one of the scariest thoughts that comes up when you let your fear speak.
You are about to do something stupid.
The opposite of the most painful thought in your head is your next step toward awakening. I would say you're about to do something really brilliant. Feel that?
Yes.